what is going on with OpenAI? This last week has been an interesting one with multiple announcements and a back and forth between OpenAI and Elon Musk, and they've gone as far as actually leaking emails between conversations of OpenAI members and Elon Musk. So it's just been a weird one. Kind of want to follow it up. What choices are they actually making over there at OpenAI? Interesting questions, but two big announcements from them as well. OpenAI announces new members to the board of directors. And guess who is back at it on the board? Sam Altman, which is an interesting turn of events. He's already the CEO of OpenAI. What's the deal here? I don't know, but this was March 8th when it was announced. And then on the same day, a review was completed, and Altman and Brockman are going to continue to lead OpenAI, including Altman still being the CEO. So before all this was dropped, there was actually a blog called OpenAI and Elon Musk, which I haven't seen too many people getting into. That's why I'm interested in actually reading through this blog post, because it actually has all sorts of email leaks and a weird discussion between OpenAI and Elon Musk going back and forth on OpenAI's mission and whether or not they are quote unquote open source, which we all know they're not. They're completely closed source at this point. But the argument here is sort of that Elon has always pushed and nudged OpenAI to remain open, yet there's contrary statements here. So we'll read through all this in a moment. And this all seems to come after what is labeled here in a striking turn of events. Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO, has initiated legal action against OpenAI and its leadership, alleging that the organization he helped found has moved from its original altruistic mission towards a profit-driven approach, particularly after partnering with Microsoft. So as this news just dropped, we get this blog post drop. Again, OpenAI and Elon Musk. We are dedicated to the OpenAI mission and have pursued it in every step of the way. Which in my opinion, this is all kind of goofy, as OpenAI is making this all public. Instead of trying to move the discourse to court, they are openly sharing information with the public about conversations with Elon. So the mission of OpenAI to ensure AGI benefits all of humanity, which means both building safe and beneficial AGI and helping create broadly distributed benefits. We are now sharing what we've learned about achieving our mission and some facts about our relationship with Elon. We intend to move to dismiss all of Elon's claims. Again, a very weird place in the public eye to be dismissing claims that Elon has brought up. Maybe this is a PR deal where public relations is getting involved. They don't want their name seemingly being dragged down by allegations or assumptions made by the public, so they're trying to come out with information. So we realize building AGI will require far more resources than we'd initially imagined. Elon said we should announce an initial $1 billion funding commitment to OpenAI. In total, the nonprofit has raised less than $45 million from Elon and more than $90 million from other donors. When starting OpenAI in late 2015, Greg and Sam had initially planned to raise $100 million. Elon said in an email, "We need to go with a much bigger number than $100 million to avoid sounding hopeless. I think we should say that we are starting with a $1 billion funding commitment. I will cover whatever anyone else doesn't provide." So this is source number one. A email between OpenAI members and Elon Musk is quoted here. "We spent a lot of time trying to envision a plausible path for AGI or to AGI. In early 2017, we came up to the realization that the building AGI will require vast quantities of compute. We began calculating how much compute an AGI might plausibly require. We all understood we were going to need a lot more capital to succeed at our mission, billions of dollars per year, which was far more than any of us, especially Elon, thought we'd be able to raise as a nonprofit," which was another goofy deal. As described in the Wall Street Journal headline, "Sam Altman seeks trillions of dollars to reshape business of chips and AI. OpenAI chief pursues investors, including the UAE, for a project possibly requiring up to $7 trillion. So they don't think they need billions, they think they need trillions, which is pretty wild in my mind. Nonetheless, we continue. "We and Elon recognize a for-profit entity would be necessary to acquire those resources. As we discussed a for-profit structure in order to further the mission, Elon wanted to merge with Tesla and he wanted full control. Elon left OpenAI, saying there needed to be a relevant competitor to Google and DeepMind and that he was going to do it himself. He said he'd be supportive of us finding our own path. I guess I'm not surprised they parted ways here, as they just had two different thoughts on how this all needed to be ran. Apparently, Elon wanted full control according to this, and OpenAI definitely did not want to give that to him. In late 2017, we and Elon decided the next step for the mission was to create a for-profit entity. Elon wanted a majority equity, initial board control, and to be CEO. In the middle of these discussions, he withheld funding. Reid Hoffman bridged the gap to cover salaries and operations. Kind of sounds like a hostile takeover at this point, but as you'll see in this paragraph, we could not agree to terms on a for-profit with Elon because we felt it was against the mission for any individual to have absolute control over OpenAI. He then suggested instead merging OpenAI into Tesla. In early February 2018, Elon forwarded us an email suggesting that OpenAI should attach to the Tesla as it's a cash cow, which is an interesting way of putting it, commenting that it was exactly right. Tesla is the only path that could even hope to hold a candle to Google. Even then, the probability of being a counterweight to Google is small. It just isn't zero. Again, another cite from an email that we are going to be reading below. If you enjoy watching these types of videos, make sure to smash that like button. It really does help me. Before we get to those emails, we'll continue reading through the blog post. Elon soon chose to leave OpenAI, saying that our probability of success was zero and that he planned to build an AGI competitor within Tesla. When he left in late February 2018, he told our team he was supportive of us finding our own path to raise billions of dollars. In December of 2018, Elon sent us an email saying even raising several hundred million won't be enough. This needs billions per year immediately or forget it. Again, another cite through an email. And now we're getting close to reading through some of the leaked emails. You can definitely tell by this point that the two parties weren't on the same page, and there was a lot going on whenever Elon left OpenAI. It's interesting to hear the two perspectives, but continuing on, we advance our mission by building widely available beneficial tools. We're making our technology broadly usable in ways to empower people and improve our daily lives, including via open source contributions. It would be nice to get a link to these open source contributions. I mean, this could mean just about anything. Maybe OpenAI is actually going back to the days where they were open source. Either way, a real big generalization here. Anyways, we provide to broad access to today's most powerful AI, which could probably be argued at this point since Gemini has been released, including some of the models that can support up to 1 million tokens. That's pretty crazy, including a free version that hundreds of millions of people use every day. For example, Albania is using OpenAI's tools to accelerate its EU accession by as much as 5.5 years. Digital Green is helping boost farmer income in Kenya and India by dropping the cost of agricultural extension services by 100 times by building on OpenAI. Lifespan, the largest healthcare provider in Rhode Island, uses GPT-4 to simplify its surgical consent forms from a college reading level to 6th grade. Iceland is using GPT-4 to preserve the Icelandic language. Well, this is seemingly some fluff on how well OpenAI is or is not doing with its chatbot. Again, sources would have been nice to see with any of these. I don't know how you even get numbers for these. That's why I see wording like as much and 100x without units or a reference to what exactly. Just a little confusing. Anyways, Elon understood the mission did not imply open sourcing AGI, as Ilya told Elon. As we get closer to building AI, it will make sense to start being less open. The open in OpenAI means that everyone should benefit from the fruits of AI after it's built, but it's totally okay not to share the science. To which Elon replied, "Yup." Again, another quote from emails. And then finally, what seemingly is a little more shade here. We're sad that it's come to this with someone whom we've deeply admired, someone who inspired us to aim higher, then told us we would fail, started a competitor, and then sued us when we started making meaningful progress towards OpenAI's mission without him. We are focused on advancing our mission and have a long way to go. As we continue to make our tools better and better, we are excited to deploy these systems so they can empower every individual. Shade being thrown around all sorts of ways. Now we get to the more exciting part. Some of the leaked emails here. First, subject follow-up from call. Blog sounds good, assuming adjustments for neutrality versus being Y Combinator centric. I'd favor positioning the blog to appeal a bit more to the general public. There is a lot of value to having the public route for us to succeed, and then having a longer, more detailed inside baseball version for recruiting with a link to it at the end of the general public version. We need to go much bigger than the number 100 mil to avoid sounding hopeless relative to Google or Facebook are spending. I think we should say that we are starting with a $1 billion funding commitment. That this is real. I will cover whatever anyone else doesn't provide. Template seems fine apart from shifting to a vesting cash bonus as default, which can optionally be turned into Y Combinator or potentially SpaceX. Need to understand how much this will be stock. This was from Elon Musk. You can see that it's to Greg Brockman and carbon copied Sam Altman way back in 2015. Continuing on, the next email is from Elon Musk, again to Ilya Sutskever and Greg Brockman, the third person. This was in 2018. It's a forwarded subject, top AI institutions today. Blank is exactly right. We wish it otherwise, but in my and Blank's opinion, Tesla is the only path that could even hope to hold a candle to Google. Even then, the probability of being a counterweight to Google is small. It just isn't zero. And here's the forwarded message that was sent to Elon. We're not exactly sure from whom, but working at the cutting edge of AI, unfortunately expensive, for example, all blanked out. In addition to DeepMind, Google also has Google Brain, Research and Cloud, and TensorFlow, TPUs, and owns about a third of all research. In fact, they hold their own AI conferences. I also strongly suspect that compute horsepower will be necessary and possibly even sufficient to reach AGI. If historical trends are any indication of progress in AI, it's primarily driven by systems, compute data, infrastructure. The core algorithms we use today remain largely unchanged from the 90s. Not only that, but an algorithmic advances published in paper somewhere can most definitely immediately re-implemented and incorporated. Conversely, algorithmic advances alone aren't inherent without scale to also make them scary. And this is something that OpenAI seems to be running into today, is the infrastructure costs in order to actually run these AIs and large language models on, especially with an incredible number like looking for $7 trillion. Anyways, it seems to me that OpenAI today is burning cash, and that funding model cannot reach the scale to seriously compete with Google, an $800 billion company. If you can't seriously compete but continue to do research in open, you might in fact be making things worse and helping them out for free, because any advances are fairly easy for them to copy and immediately incorporate at scale. Which is kind of funny because we have seen some drops like Llama, Facebook's attempt at AI, become completely dropped and open source to the public. So are we going to have a future where we have open source AIs and they perform even better, if not on par with the ones that already exist and are closed source? Well, I'd like to hear from you in the comment section below, but we'll continue reading here. A for-profit pivot might create a more sustainable revenue stream over time and would, with the current team, likely bring in a lot of investment. However, building out a product from scratch would steal focus from the AI research. It would take a long time, and it's unclear if a company could catch up to Google's scale, and the investors might exert too much pressure in the wrong directions. The most promising option I can think of, as I mentioned earlier, would be for OpenAI to attach to Tesla as its cash cow. I believe attachments to other large suspects, e.g., Apple, Amazon, would fail due to an incompatible company DNA. Using a rocket analogy, Tesla already built the first stage of the rocket with the whole supply chain of the Model 3 and its onboard computer and persistent internet connection. The second stage would be a full self-driving solution based on large-scale neural network training, which OpenAI expertise could significantly help accelerate. With a functioning full self-driving solution within 2 to 3 years, we could sell a lot of cars and trucks if we do this really well. The transportation industry is large enough that we could increase Tesla's market cap to high out 100K equivalent and use that revenue to fund the AI work at an appropriate scale. I cannot see anything else that has the potential reach sustainable Google scale capital within a decade. Very interesting words, especially the push to try combining Tesla and OpenAI, especially for the full self-driving. That's definitely one thing that we still haven't quite seen yet, and doesn't seem like we're going to see anytime soon. That a lot of this actually stemmed from the fact that full self-driving was at the forefront of everything, and the only way to actually achieve it was potentially merging an AI company like OpenAI into Tesla. I guess we're going to be left wondering because we only have a few more emails to go through here. This one's from Elon Musk, again to Ilias Sutskever and Greg Brockman. Carbon copied Sam on this one. I feel I should reiterate my probability assessment of OpenAI being relevant to DeepMind or Google without dramatic change in the execution and resources is 0, not 1%. I wish it were otherwise. Even raising several hundred million won't be enough. This needs to be billions per year, immediately, or forget it. Ultimately, humanity's future is in the hands of, this is blanked out again, and they are doing a lot more than this, all blanked out. I really hope I'm wrong, Elon. Then another one in the 2016. Hi, Elon. This one from Elon, a forwarded message to Sam Altman, Ilya, and Greg. Hi, Elon. Happy New Year to you. Blank. Congratulations on landing the Falcon 9. We have what an amazing achievement. Time to build out the fleet now. I've seen you and Sam and other OpenAI people doing a lot of interviews recently extolling the virtues of open sourcing AI, but I presume you realize that it is not some sort of a panacea that somehow magically solve the safety problem. There are many good arguments as to why the approach you are taking is actually very dangerous and in fact may increase the risk of the world. Some of the more obvious points are well articulated in the blog post that I'm sure you've seen, but there are also other important considerations. Be interested to hear your counter arguments to these points, best name blocked out. This one's from Ilya to Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and Greg. The article is concerned with the hard takeoff scenario. If a hard takeoff concerns and a safe AI is harder to build than an unsafe one, then by open sourcing everything, we make it easy for someone unscrupulous with access to overwhelming amount of hardware to build unsafe AI, which will experience a hard takeoff. As we get closer to building AI, it will make sense to start building less open. The open in OpenAI means that everyone should benefit from its fruits of AI after it's built, but it's totally okay to not share the science, even though sharing everything is definitely the right strategy in the short and possibly medium term for recruitment purposes. And finally, the last email back, a simple yep or and an acknowledgement on January 2nd, 2016, that Elon seemingly, at least for what's read here, is saying, yeah, it makes sense to take OpenAI as it gets bigger and make it less open, aka closed source. Again, this has been a very weird week for OpenAI with some changes as well as email leaks after Elon threatened to sue. We're getting a better picture of how OpenAI, the company, has been planning its business model around becoming closed source and some of the concerns that they've had about their own AI. I wanted to cover this because I found it very interesting. As this bout continues, we'll learn more. But until then, make sure you subscribe below for more videos like this. Make sure to like the video, catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching.